Steve, let's talk about some of the warning signs that we raised in the book that are indicating that a real estate agent may not be behaving in their client's best interest.
All right. Well, that's a good question. We actually have a whole chapter addressed to situations where a realtor will do something that is seemingly innocuous, or maybe may even be pitched as helping out his
like
client.
What? Like what? Name one.
So a common example is when a listing agent says to his client, before we put your property into the multiple listing service, I'm going to go ahead and put a coming soon sign in front
Why
of
is
your
that
property.
bad?
It's bad because when you market a property, you want to have a powerful market launch of the property. By putting the coming soon sign in front of the property, it's deflating the balloon. The power of that marketing launch is completely lost. And
Right.
it heightens the agent's chance of getting both sides of the commission.
So that's the second issue. It's a conflict of interest.
It
potentially
potentially
a conflict of
potentially
interest.
it's a bad marketing strategy, and it's a conflict of interest.
Okay. What's the second warning sign that you see out there?
Well, one of the things we see in all the time is these neighborhood agents who label themselves as neighborhood specialists.
I'm a neighborhood specialist.
And so am I. And that by itself is not bad, but you should just be aware if an agent's telling you he's a neighborhood specialist and he wants to list your home, you need to find out who he represents in the process. Because
what do you mean by that?
So some agents will neighborhood specialists usually have a really good handle on who the buyers are for that neighborhood and who the sellers are, and they have incredible financial incentive to try to marry the two. And if they're able to do that successfully, they can get double-sided commission. The problem with that is a neighborhood specialist who's successful at doing that, it has a very strong financial incentive not to market your property actively outside of his sphere, because one, he helps drive buyers out to his competition, and two, he's not making as much money.
So your issue, or our issue with neighborhood specialists, is particularly on the listing side, is if they don't approach the marketing ethically, there's an incentive for them to try to list the home at a lower price and bring in one of their own buyers before the broader market has it.
Correct.
Right, but a neighborhood specialist as a buyer's agent actually can be a very good thing, because they may be aware of homes coming up in the market that may not be, sort of off-market properties, if you will, that you wouldn't necessarily have access to if you didn't tap the expertise of the neighborhood specialist.
Right. As a seller, I think it's more important for a seller to have a listing, a market specialist versus a neighborhood specialist.
A marketing specialist.
Marketing specialist.
Okay. What's another example of another warning sign?
So another warning sign is, it's actually just the opposite of the coming soon, which is when an agent wants to list your property and they want to rush back and put the property on as quickly as possible.
Why is that bad?
Well, you only have one chance to make a first impression, and when you put your property on the market, you really want to have it showing in its best possible shape, and you want to make sure all your marketing preparation is done, so that when it does hit the market, you've maximized your odds of getting a buyer in there, and a buyer who sees the property in its best light and who's going to make the best offer.
And why would a real estate agent want to do that?
Well, sometimes you get lucky in this business, and you can just run back and put the property in the MLS, and a buyer does come in, and they see the property, and they write an offer. Seller's happy, agent's happy, buyer's happy. But what the seller never knows is that had the property been shown better, or had the property been marketed better, that one buyer either might have written a higher offer, or you actually might have had more buyers come in and into a competitive situation.